Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day. My name is Greg Bunt, and I'll be hosting this session along with Matt Miller, who's one of the co-founders, along with myself, of Insicon Cyber. So good morning, Matt.
Morning, Greg, and hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, we can see Matt. We'll come back to him with some audio in a second. Anyhow, I'll keep going. A little bit about Insicon just to get started. Insicon's been running for a number of years now, and when Matt and I established this organization, it was about empowering our customers with independent and high quality risk-based cybersecurity leadership and solutions. We've been doing it for a number of years, and it's been an honor to work in this industry for such a long period of time, but also work with new customers and bring together solutions, drawing on our history in the networking, IT, and cybersecurity spaces for a long time. A little bit about myself, just here at the beginning. So a little bit about myself. I'm an ISO 27001 lead implementer. I've been doing implementations of cybersecurity policies, processes, and procedures for 15 or so years, drawing upon my experience in the cybersecurity space and delivering that to other organizations, our customers, and today broadly sharing it with the industry for the greater benefit. I'll cross to Matt now, and hopefully we can hear him.
Yep. Yeah. So thanks, Greg. I, like Greg, have been doing this for quite some time now, probably before it was cool and trendy. So I've been practicing ISO 27000 now since the late 90s, when it was the British standard 7799. So I've been in the last sort of 15 years being a fractional CISO for several Australian-based organisations and looking at things from a technology, risk, and also policy procedural perspective. So pretty much end-to-end CISO perspective. Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Matt. And yeah, it's a pleasure to have everybody on the call today. There's 40 or so people have joined us this morning. So everyone, for today, we're going to take you through some of the announcements that we've seen from three very different but consistent messaged organizations. This is really a practical session. We're not here to drive theory. This is about telling you what we've heard and what it means to organizations and boards broadly, and what actions need to be taken in order to become compliant and make sure that you've understood and acknowledged what these organizations are signaling to you. So I guess why now? Over the last 8 weeks, we've had three very specific directives from three very different organizations, intelligence agencies, regulatory bodies, and organizations that are, like even organizations like the Australian Institute of Company Directors, have been very specific around what they're expecting boards to do and what are the directors' responsibilities. The three organizations that have sent us directives in the last 2 months are different, but the message is very similar. APRA, so if you are a regulated financial services organization, so it's banks, insurers, etc., the message from APRA. Then from ASIC, although the message went out to targeting largely financial services industries, take the message that they are signaling it to all organizations. This is an opportunity to get ahead of your ongoing regulatory obligations and get to a level of good. And the final one, we're used to hearing from Five Eyes for very, very different reasons, but this is the coalition of 5 organizations that share deep intelligence information, and they're very concerned about the adoption of AI, both in its use and in its in frontier technologies like Mythos, where it could be used against an organization, and they're very prescriptive in what all three of them are saying when it comes to how you need to protect AI, your data, and what defensive mechanisms you need to put in place. Insicon have been in the forefront of this area, not just during the last sort of 8 weeks, but over many years. And in fact, Matt spent some time with the New Zealand's Minister for Department of Internal Affairs. And so maybe, Matt, you want to give us an insight as to some of the discussions that you had in New Zealand.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Greg. Yeah, so just to reiterate what Greg said, this really is an unprecedented state of events. For Five Eyes to come out and do a joint statement from a government perspective is quite eye-opening. It's never been done before. But yeah, speaking to the Minister for Department of Internal Affairs in New Zealand, obviously governments are taking this extremely seriously and responding to a point where they're effectively saying to everyone, the time's arrived. We've given everyone enough time and enough road to get their AI strategy in place. With frontier models, they're effectively doubling in size every 3 months. So Mythos is the one that we know about. There's also other ones that are being used in more nefarious ways from state-based actors. So essentially, the time's arrived that AI not only is good from a productivity perspective, but it's also being used in malicious and nefarious ways against organisations, especially those who haven't taken security as seriously as they possibly should have in the past. So effectively, what these statements are saying is now's the time to improve your security practices. AI is being used not just from a productivity gain perspective, but also from a threat actor perspective as well. And it was quite insightful to have that conversation at a ministerial government level when I was in New Zealand, and just sort of get those insights as well directly from the horse's mouth, as they say.
Great, thanks, Matt. And so one thing that let's be all very clear as to what all three of them are saying. This is not just regulatory noise, right? This is a coordinated signaling from these organizations to boards and directors, initially in the financial services sector. But let's look at that. It's coming for all organizations, that cyber risk belongs at the board, and it is their responsibility to ensure they understand the risk and that they manage it effectively. It is not okay to pass that off to a CISO who once a year reports back to the board and gives you some metrics. These organizations are saying that directors and leadership must own this issue straight away. That AI is accelerating. Matt just mentioned that this is accelerating, doubling every few months. That's an amazing, not unexpected, but an amazing position. And our defenses are not maturing at the same pace. We've got to get there quicker. We've got to get those controls tested. Not just the design efficiency, but the control efficiency has to be tested, and we have to be more rigorous about it. So it's not just about documenting it, it's around testing it, making sure that it works, and the businesses must act now. There's two parts to it. You can act now to get the competitive advantage. Let's use AI for the good, but also the regulatory obligations are coming. Although this presentation touches on 3 areas, I will have 1 or 2 slides as well just on what the EU is doing. And again, that's another signal that there are changes coming, and that we need to address those concerns as quick as we possibly can. I'll step into the first one then, which is the statement around what Five Eyes actually said. So this is the organization from 5 different countries that looks after not just cybersecurity, but overall security intelligence sharing between organizations. And they're very clear. If we were to distill the one sentence, it's the timeline is not years, it's months, and it's now. This is intelligence agencies speaking directly to business leadership. As Matt said, this is unprecedented in its approach. These types of briefings usually go to government, and government distills them down and then shares them with businesses. This is the actual intelligence agencies talking directly to directors. This is signed by all of these organizations. And this is not just some vendor warning, right? This is very clear that this is targeted at organizations and that you must improve your cybersecurity posture quickly because AI as an attack vector is coming for you. Matt, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, it's, I've never seen anything like this in my career, to be honest with you, Greg. And I think this is the part that we really do need to now sort of start to see security as a, we call it an enablement, and we also call it a cost center. This is the difference between organizations staying in business and not. We don't know what we don't know. AI is finding security vulnerabilities that are that are decades old that we haven't been able to find over the last 30 years. So AI is definitely a like I say, there's plenty of benefits, but there's also plenty of concerns around its capability in finding these particular vulnerabilities, not just finding them, but also their exploitability and what that would have and what damage that could inflict on an organisation.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Matt. And I guess distilling what they've said in very plain English is there are 4 areas that the Five Eyes leadership is telling businesses that they need to prioritize as AI changes the direct threat landscape. And it's clear, you must understand and assess your risk readiness and accountability. The Australian government has decided not to legislate AI cyber security laws around what you should and shouldn't do. So it requires you to actually use your existing frameworks to get the jobs done. And the first part of that is you can't manage anything if you don't know what the risk is. So understanding, assess the risk, be ready, and decide who is accountable. And at the highest level, that's the board. The second part is around some very, as Matt just mentioned, some very basic cybersecurity practices and controls. We are going to find issues that are very old, and we need to prioritize addressing many of these issues and getting it done quickly. We need to make sure that cyber leadership is ready and has the authority and is resourced to actually get this job done. It can't just be that we're going to make this a business as usual approach. Businesses need to take an opportunity to look at their data set, understand, is it confidential? Is it public knowledge? Categorize it well, and then secure it properly. And then the final part is stay actively engaged and get guidance as it evolves. This morning, the New Zealand Centre for Cybersecurity published a briefing to New Zealand organisations, but let's assume that it would be just as valid in Australia, around Russian state-based hackers now with pressure being exerted on certain countries. The state-based actors are looking to go after not just other state-based actors, but also go after financial institutions and other businesses that maybe are seen as low-hanging fruit, but are going to be at risk and exposed. And this is about taking data for the future. Maybe it's encrypted today, but in a post-quantum world in years to come, it won't be. So these announcements come out very, very frequently. And we've seen them again from the ACSC, so the Australian Cybersecurity Organisation, announcing to all businesses that there are tools to help, there are approaches you can use, and they're not always a technology outcome. They're quite often changes in your business approach. So why are they saying this? It's very clear that organizations just have not taken cybersecurity seriously in a way that is accountable at the board level. This is around signaling from the world's biggest intelligence agencies that there are so many things that need to be addressed here. And when we then distill it down more, we're going to see that that's Five Eyes is telling countries and companies, and then the regulators are saying, well, we're deciding that this is going to be owned by the board, and in particular the directors of that board, and this will that's where that liability is going to sit. We expect you to manage it well. Matt, did you have anything to comment on this one?
Yeah, I think on the previous slide, what really stood out to me was the empowerment of cybersecurity leadership. Again, that's something that we've never seen in these types of communications before, where this is not a technology problem. This is now a defence problem, and that includes people, process, and technology. So, getting your house in order, getting your ability to to respond and to recover from a cyber incident, now is the time, and that's effectively what these publications and these announcements are saying. You need to build in robust processes into your environment to be able to respond to these types of events when they happen. They are happening, and the frontier models. It's amazing to go through and have a look at the frontier models and just how powerful they're becoming every release. They're leapfrogging every time they get released to the public. Like Fable 5 is the Anthropic's latest one. Obviously, Mythos is only for a select few, but all the others are catching up. And that means that all these AI models, or these LLMs, are getting more and more powerful and have the ability to interrogate vulnerabilities a lot quicker. They're able to see vulnerabilities basically in real time. So these announcements are about get your house in order, get your cybersecurity health and hygiene up to an acceptable level, and you'll be better off than people who don't. In an obvious sense. But now's the time, and that's what they're saying, is that the time's arrived, and organisations need to take this a lot more seriously than they have in the past.
Thanks, Matt. I guess the way to take that more seriously, and this is the directives distilling the 5 Eyes update, which is reduce your attack surface. If you can secure it, put it away, don't leave it out on the internet, that's a very easy first step. There are many organizations that we continue to work with that have not done this very basic first step. Old systems on the internet, old API gateways laying out there. They're just not taking that reduce the attack surface part seriously. The second part is around patching. I know this is always, as it's a technology viewpoint, and it's always viewed upon as something very difficult to do. Regardless, accelerate what you are doing in this regard. We would have said in the past that updating every fortnight or monthly was the way to go. We've got to do it quicker. As Matt said, we're seeing these issues in real time. And the final part is around design. Secure by design, secure by default. It goes by a number of different names. It actually has to be architected into solutions. It can't just be we're going to apply security later or when we get funding. If we don't have the architectural piece right and we don't have the funding for it, consideration should be really given to ensuring that you can fund it correctly and manage and own the data. Remember, you're being tasked as, if you're a director of an organization, you're being tasked as the owner of this risk. And that moves us into what APRA is saying. So APRA regulate Australian financial institutions, insurance companies, tier 2 finance, etc. These are licensed organizations, and you are allowed to perform your business under that license. APRA have come to the market and said these particular points. What they're saying is we expect governance and risk management to include AI. In the past, we'd have said that maybe you want to manage it separately or organizations want to manage it separately. Cybersecurity must be part of the governance regime. Your risk must include your suppliers, and that can be either direct suppliers, third party, extended. It doesn't matter. You need to have an ownership and an understanding of that profile to make sure that you've got it covered well. And the final part is around change management and insurance. But let's step through each one. Very clearly, we're seeing APRA specifically call out that a prompt can be asked or tasked to do something that it shouldn't or couldn't really supposed to do. And that could be something like, maybe you're an internal employee and you ask it a particular question, and now you ask it a different question and it continues to respond. They want to see guardrails. They want to see harnesses put in place to make sure that the prompt is used only for the tasks that it's meant to. They're telling you that the data that an LLM trains on, these systems train on, has to be quality. If you just feed it everything, you're going to get a very, very, crazy response potentially, because it's not quality information. We need to make sure that exploits are patched and looked after quickly. Our experience with AI red teaming, for example, we have used our tools and our property to go after certain AI interfaces, and we have been able to get amazing responses out of them. Remember, this is a game, as Matt said, every few months, the actual power and intelligence is doubling, and that's really having an impact in this regard. Matt, maybe some of your experiences around, your virtual CISO experience here?
Yeah, so we are seeing prompt injection style attacks, both nefariously, but also from a naivety perspective as well. So, making sure that your employees are educated on what is acceptable to put into an AI system and what's not allowed. Effectively, that is equivalent to a data leakage breach, which possibly under the ASD Privacy Act ruling, under the Notifiable Breaches Act, could end up being a notifiable event. So you don't want to find yourself in that situation. So understanding and having your employees understand what is acceptable and what is not. But I do like what you said earlier, Greg, in regards to understand your threat landscape, understand what exposures you have on the internet, and you've got more than you think you do. Whether that's via socials, whether that's via API gateways, whether that's via, not locking down Microsoft 365. It's extremely important. But the last thing, just quickly, is that your endpoint solutions now, most of them, and we work with the likes of Trend AI and SentinelOne, both have a virtual patching capability. So being able to invoke a virtual patch on your infrastructure allows you to be a lot more strategic in regards to rolling out patches. The actual patch itself, it buys time. And that's effectively what these announcements are trying to get organisations to implement and to take up.
Thanks, Matt. And then if we continue the next part of the observation, which is around governance and risk management, board literacy is a critical point here. APRA are clearly not satisfied with annual or 6 monthly updates from a CISO or a risk committee that says we're all good. They want the expectation is that you must have continuous updates around your risk. You must monitor them continuously. You must map your accountability directly. Who owns the AI? Who owns the assets, the information assets that it uses? Who's going to drive the framework? The expectation of the board now is that they have a much higher competency and understanding around cybersecurity, the risks, and AI in particular. And Matt, you've spoken to a number of boards, right? And you're probably in the best position to articulate what you see from a board perspective.
Yeah, I think the boards, typically aren't interested in technology. One day, it's probably too detailed for those particular engagements. But what they do understand is risk, and being able to map the technology, the imminent or the potential threat back to a risk-based framework is typically where I find the best conversations are had. So using best practice, using frameworks like 27001 give you, it takes the subjectivity out of the discussion and brings it back to a good, solid, foundational conversation. And that's, again, what I like, especially in phase 2 there, the risk framework coverage is really, somewhere that all organisations can spend more time.
Thanks, Matt. This is an interesting one. So third party and supplier risk management. Um, when we engage with organizations, and this is a fair number of controls inside ISO 27001, we talk to organizations around how they manage their third parties. And a lot of that is, oh, it's a tick and flick, or it's a, I don't have an opportunity to interact with the contract. It's a, it's a sign online type approach. There's a couple of things that APRA are observing here. A lot of the information is being provided by vendors, and that vendor information is not informative enough to get the job done. We're also seeing things like concentration risk. If you have all of your data with one vendor, you have your security with that one vendor, that concentration risk is increasing. And that could be, what if that vendor has an outage? What if that vendor has a compromise? Or as we've seen, what happens if government legislates that that service is to be taken offline? These sorts of things need to be addressed when it comes to supplier risk. And maybe, Matt, you've seen this as well. Any comments here?
Yeah, it's concentration risk that's a relatively new. It's a new one. It's an obvious one, but it's not something that we've fleshed out in the past. Contractual gaps, absolutely. I think now is the time for all organisations to go back to any material contracts that you have with third-party suppliers and make sure that they have at least acknowledged that they're, that the AI threat and also how they're going about doing that themselves. Having the right to audit, having the right to, to potentially assess them from an AI security perspective should, I think personally, be included in all material contracts with some, outsource agreements.
Yeah, and it's a good thing there because, Matt, one of the things that organizations often overlook is what happens when they leave the supplier. What happens to their data at the end of term? And those types, is it destroyed? Is it handed back? Is that information removed from backups? Your data lives on a lot longer than probably the contract, has defined. The final point then is around change management and insurance. The APRA requirement is very, very clear in this regard. A one-off audit does not satisfy its expectations and your obligations. It wants to see you constantly run an assurance program across your data set and across AI, and make sure that you are very clear that you are continuously monitoring the data, you're continuously monitoring the AI interfaces, your employees, you're providing training, you're briefing the board. It's incredibly clear what they're after, as opposed to what they've seen. And it's in this particular case, APRA are the regulator for financial institutions, banks, insurance companies, etc. One of the most powerful things they can deliver to an organization that they are regulating is an enforceable undertaking. That undertaking is a supervisory activity that basically means APRA are telling this organization what to do. It is a very challenging position to be in, and it's usually a long-term supervisory action. They are clear here in what they are saying, that if you are not managing how your AI risk is performing inside the business, they will use their regulatory powers up to and including supervisory activities against that organization. This is a very powerful statement, very blunt one. Matt, would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good to see, APRA and ASIC sort of starting to extend their powers and their enforcement of these particular things, because I do think it's what's warranted in this particular industry right now. This is not an advisory letter; it's a warning, and I completely agree with that. This, it's very strong wording in this particular announcement.
Right. If we step out then to look at the final one, which is the ASIC letter, this applies to all organizations, although the open letter is written to licensees and financial institutions. let's look at this as a leading indicator of what's coming for all companies. What they're saying is it's time for coordinated activities, very deliberate activities to be put into place. They're telling you that the letter itself must be tabled at the board level. It must be tabled at the risk level. If it's tabled at those levels, it will be minuted. It should be acknowledged. It means that you being informed of the changes in legislative environments, and you should take action. It's very clear that that's the first step, and that ASIC want to see that very clearly actioned. They then want to see some cyber resilience basics, training, updating staff, not just documentation, actual activities, things happening that actually demonstrate that you have taken this seriously and continuously seriously. The board reporting is to be regular. It is to be not just a summarization of what's going on. It needs to be detailed enough that the risk owner and the board understand the risk, understand what process is being put in place, and then actually making sure that they're improving that risk position. And this is not without a precedent either. If you look up the FIG group and its prosecution by ASIC, they were very clear that there were several opportunities for that company to have done the right thing. They chose not to, or did it in an incomplete fashion, and the regulator, in this case ASIC, took them to court and found them to be in breach of their obligations and fined them accordingly. These types of first cases, once prosecuted, set the precedent for what will happen to other organizations that don't take it seriously. And Matt, your view on it's only one slide on the ASIC letter, so do you have anything to comment to?
Look, again, I think it's needed. But secondly, one thing that this seems a lot harder than what it actually is, right? Like this continuous reporting and whatever else is like, it should be, it's very warranted for starters, but it's also, it's not that difficult to do, and it's not that difficult to maintain. A lot of people get overwhelmed by these particular things, these particular tasks. And, one thing that should really come through loud and clear is that, yes, it's needed, but two, it's not overwhelmingly hard to do.
Yeah, and it's a good point. And I think if we look here, this is the final slide I had around acts, legislations, and signalling from organisations, defence, etc., is around the EU AI Act. It's very common for the EU to take a very early example of what they're expecting organisations to do, legislate it, and bring it in. They were very early on in things like Privacy Act, the privacy principles. Their Privacy Act is significantly more widespread and pervasive than what we're exposed to in this country. But it's very clear that if you are using EU citizens' information inside an AI model, if you are using your AI in their market, that it is clear that you must comply, even if you are not based in the EU, you must comply with their legislative obligations. And they are very early on. They have done their work here around the implementation plan, the data that they're expecting, how it will be managed, and we should look to them for what is coming in our environment for sure. Matt, did you have anything maybe on ASD AI guidelines or what you might see regionally?
Yeah, well, firstly, just on the EU thing, GDPR was a real eye-opener as far as privacy was concerned. And this is really an extension of that level of, intensity from the EU. With the ASD have actually released quite some time ago the 10 voluntary AI guardrails that have given us a really good sort of viewpoint of how we deal with AI here in Australia and New Zealand, or Australia. And, the fact that they've gone to the pain of actually putting in voluntary, I expect sometimes that will, in some time, that will turn into a mandatory. So if you're not aware of that, just Google ASD voluntary AI guardrails, and that'll give you an insight into, where you need to start putting your efforts into how you deal with AI, both from an internal and an external perspective.
Great, thanks, Matt. And looping back then to what Matt said, what does good governance look like? We've defined the problem well. We understand the leading signals from these organizations, but let's just step through what this looks like, because the first steps are the easier ones and they're relatively straightforward to do. But let's be clear in summary that all of these requirements, signals, open letters are saying exactly the same thing. They're saying that you've got to have a risk management portfolio. You've got to be transparent. Your supply chain has to be organized. And if you look there at the final column, it's clear that the EU AI Act encapsulates absolutely everything that must be done. And from if I just look at the APRA, ASIC, and the Five Eyes components, look at the overlap. They're not asking you to do wildly different things. They're asking you to do the same thing, and now you're being asked by multiple organizations to get this done. And if you're an ISO 27001 company and you've been certified like we have and many others, you understand this very well. You already have sections inside 27001 that relate to risk. It's a risk-based framework. You already have Annex A controls that apply to third parties. You have the context of your organization, your interested parties. This is a pathway that you already know. And these open letters and notifications come straight into your requirement to inform your business directly into ISO 27001. So if you're already in a certified company, your pathway to get this done is very clear. And I'm going to ask Matt just to comment firstly on 27001, and then let's look to step into 42001, which may be an extension for companies that have an ISMS and then are looking to regulate AI, or don't have anything around ISO 27001 and want to step straight into it. Matt?
Yep. Yeah, so the thing I like about these best practices is it's firstly, it's awareness. It really is bubbling up what you know and what you don't know, and also then a best practice path in order to to put in good governance, to put in good practices that will help provide a much better response to these types of threats as and when they happen. It's not really an if anymore, unfortunately. So 27001 gives you the good muscle memory from a security perspective, understanding your privacy implications, understanding where your data sits, but also to the point of AI, where your assets live, your digital assets, and also physical assets, anything that processes data. Now, going into 42001, same risk-based framework, which is really, I see it as an extension of 27001, but it is a standalone standard. It really is about understanding, testing it, making sure that you do have some level of AI assurance, that, you're looking at things such as adversarial testing. You're also looking at prompt injection testing. How would a AI interaction cause damage to your business? And that's what we've been focusing on for the last 12 months, understanding that landscape, bringing our offensive AI testing to market, but then certifying it, understanding what you've got, being able to then work out and to dimension that, put a risk-based framework around it, then we can get certification. And again, it's as with any ISO standard, then we go into a maintenance mode and make sure that we're always looking at ways to improve. That continual improvement, I see it as one of the keystones of these particular certifications, that you're always looking for areas that you could improve, that you've got the framework to be able to support that mindset. But it is a top-down approach. You need the board involved, and again, that's why the likes of ASIC are coming out and saying, the board needs to take this a lot more seriously than they have been. Top management needs to take this a lot more seriously. You need to assign resources and you need to assign a budget, because the alternative is pretty catastrophic.
Yeah, and so I think, thanks, Matt. I think to take away and summarize this morning, what are the 5 questions that boards should be asking? So if whoops, I want my build to build. Come back to that one. Sorry. So I guess what are the next steps here? The next steps are fairly clear. We need to be able to, have everyone on this call share the information with others. Let's reach out. If you want to reach back to Insicon, please reach back. Matt and myself are available to have conversations. There are others in the business that can have these conversations. Reach back to us and let's have that conversation. We have, there'll be some follow-ups out of this. We'll push out a number of blogs and some additional information that will help support, what we've covered today. But it's very clear that organizations are being tasked and asked to get particular pieces of work done by regulatory authorities and intelligence organizations. The time is now. The time is ready to get things done. Matt, did you have anything just to summarize?
Look, if there's a takeaway for any business owners, executives and top management, it really empower your cybersecurity leaders. Understand where their concerns may lie, understand where your weaknesses are, take the time to understand it and take the time to understand how to remediate. Again, to Greg's point, we can help. We can have that conversation with you and help sort of guide you in regards to where you need to look in order to improve your security posture. But empowering your security leaders is the first thing that you should do on the back of this particular webinar. We're all in it together. This is really, the reason that we wanted to do this webinar is altruistic in its form. That really this is about getting the information out there and making sure that everyone is aware of their obligation and aware of the implications of this situation. So that really is the my takeaway from this particular narrative.
Great. Thanks, Matt. And so we're just going to pause now for some questions. If you've got a question you'd like to ask, maybe raise your hand or drop it a note into the chat channel, and we can try and answer those questions. Guy, so I can see Guy McPhee hand raised. Maybe we can open the floor for everyone to talk as well. Can't hear anyone talking, but just commenting back to what I see in the chat channel, and Guy will come back to you. Thanks everyone for one of the comments here. Thank you for this. Appreciate how it's linked to frameworks and that makes it actionable. And that is one of the things that we're very clear on. It's not just noise. It's not just comments. It's actually things that are actionable. Small steps are going to be helpful. And it'll be, we're very happy to help and move it forward. Guy, will reach back to you. I can see that there's trouble with the audio. So we will reach back to you after today. Matt, did you have anything to wrap up with?
No, just thanks everyone for taking the time to listen to us. Hopefully you found it informative. Obviously we wanted to do this. We've never seen announcements from organisations and government departments quite to this extent before. So hopefully we've done it justice, and hopefully this will be the start of many of these types of webinars to inform customers. So thank you.
No problem. Thank you. And I'd just like to reiterate that as well. Thank you all for your investment of time. A copy of this presentation and this webinar will be available a little bit later on. So there's an opportunity for you to review it, listen to it, but also share it with others in your organization and drive that overall awareness. So thank you very much from Matt and myself. I hope you found the event useful. Please reach out if you've got any questions or comments, and we look forward to talking to you all soon. Thank you and have a great day.